Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, the 14th of November, the world will organize International Diabetes Day, which is an annual event organized by the International Diabetic Federation with the support of the United Nations, World Health Organization. This was started in 1991 and finally in 2006 it became a day, WHO day for diabetes awareness and prevention. This year theme of World Diabetes Day is Know Your Risk. Know your risk so that you can take command of your diabetes and take appropriate action to prevent the diabetes. So I'm going to release this vlog tomorrow at the occasion of World International, or let's say World Diabetes Day, organized by the International Diabetic Federation. Now, before we go further, let's understand diabetes. Diabetes is also called as lifestyle disease. Lifestyle disease means you have disturbed the normal pattern of life by consuming unhealthy food, fast food, food with high starch, food with high sugar, white flour consumption, potatoes, sweet potatoes, and related, while sweet potato is a very good, but consumption in the limited amount is good. Anyway, so lifestyle means an unhealthy diet that one consumes. Then there is a lack of physical activities or exercise that many people don't do. Then there is a stress of different issues in life. Then there is a overweight, increasing overweight, decreasing activities. So these factors, combined by the genetic factors, combined by the genes for both type 1, type 2, I'll explain to you. So genetic factors play a role, but in type 2, which is, let me explain the 3-4 types of diabetes for people who want to understand. There are 4 types of diabetes. In general, it is 1 and 2, but the 2 are also added here. Type 1, which is an autoimmune disease, and it is prevalent in children and young adults, where pancreas stops making insulin. No insulin production is available. Therefore, one has to be dependent on external insulin to regulate the blood sugar in the body. However, there are treatments available in some countries like Germany using the stem cell of the same individual. Then there is a type 2 diabetes, type diabetes mellitus, which affect the 90% of the population of the world. This is also genetic, but partly genetics. There are genes, 4, 5, 6 genes until now have been identified for type 2, which is affecting 90% of the population in the world. And third one, okay, let me say here that this is not purely genetics, type 2. It's partly genetics and partly sedentary life, lack of physical activities, dietary changes, lifestyle changes, overweight, etc., etc., use of alcohol, etc., etc. Third one is gestational, which is purely in woman during pregnancy, and it is resolved itself after the delivery of the baby, or by some diet control, or initially with some medication, which starts at or after the third trimester. So, but such women are prone to becoming diabetes with type 2 diabetes. And there is a third type called LADA, latent autoimmune disease, diabetic disease. So, but this is autoimmune, LADA. First one is autoimmune with heavy genetic factors involved or strong genetic factors involved. The type 2, 90% people having this has partly genetic factors and partly lifestyle changes. Therefore, my discussion advices will be for those who suffer or who want to control their diabetes. And one thing interesting to note, that majority of people in the world with diabetes have no knowledge that they suffer from diabetes. They do not know, they have never been tested. When it's too late, means in the night you awake for urinary need, thirst, frequency of urinary, well, I shouldn't say the infection, but a need for going to pee, etc., etc., reminds you that something wrong. Then, so therefore, many people are not aware that they have the diabetes. Therefore, there has to be a screening program, annual after 45 years of age or 50 years of age, and then get this very easy testing at home or with any laboratory, test the fasting 1 time, 2 times, 3 times in a month, and you will know that your level is high. What are the levels? You know it, but let us remind that up to 100 milligram per deciliter is normal. 100 to 125 milligram deciliter is pre-diabetic, and above that is diabetic. But it is not in one go. You have to have it repeated. Reproducible result has to be obtained each time with the higher level. Now, if you live in a country where they have a millimole per liter, then you will see that somewhere between 5.6 to up to 5.6 will be normal, and then 5.7 to 6.9 will be pre-diabetic, and above 7 you are diabetic. But these are not controlled, and these are not so accurate because they fluctuate with your diet, exercise, and sleeping pattern. So what you need to do it 3 monthly, a test called glycated hemoglobin, HbA1c. 3 monthly glycated hemoglobin is a control. And this will give you, if you have the value, if you have less than 7 or more than 7. Less than 7 in HbA1c, 3 months result is okay. You will not have a diabetic complication of diabetic retinopathy, diabetic neuropathy, and physical weakness, male weaknesses, etc., etc. But if it is more than 7, then you need to bring it down immediately before it causes damage to your nerves and eyes and teeth and so on. And that has to be brought, if required, by medication, but primarily by diet changes and lifestyle changes. Junk food, white bread, pizza, fried foods, food available in Subway and McDonald's, which contains high calories, glucose, and starchy product in it, has to be abandoned as soon as possible. Reduce your weight by exercise and diet. Increase your physical activities. And if you do exercise, increase it for further 15 minutes. Or do a walk 30 to 40 minutes, 3-4 times a week. And lose some weight. So these lifestyle changes will bring it down. And if required, as I said, take some medication. Because if it remains untreated or higher level of insulin, glucose in your blood, that will start causing some damage to your health. That's why they call mother of all diseases, if not controlled. If not controlled. But if you make a control less than 7 your HbA1c, dietary changes, lifestyle changes, full physical activities, then you're likely to have it contained under 7, and that is perfect for your life. You can eat, and no worries for the complication that results from the high level of glucose in your blood by lack of production of insulin by your pancreas. That is what happens in type 1, where it is not produced by the pancreas and you have to be dependent on insulin. However, there are many medications for type 2. If you are unable to control it by food and exercise, then take the medication. And the doctor will give you medication, starting with the low dose, increasing it to the maximum, and still your A1C does not come down, then probably you will have to add or go on insulin, which your family physician or diabetologist will tell you. Now, if you say the prevalence of diabetes, you will note that in those countries where people have become an affluent society, like Saudi Arabia, like Qatar, where people consume a lot of fast food and fried food, lots of soft drinks, then you increase the weight and then obesity and then diabetes. And in those countries where they used to eat starchy food, such as Samoa Island, Cook Island, Vanuatu, Western Samoa, Polynesia, it's all part of Polynesia. You will see them, they are obese, and that brings the diabetes in. In Pakistan, where I'm currently based, the prevalence of diabetes, according to the IDF, International Diabetes Federation, 2016 it was 11.6. And every 2 years it continue 18 point something, 20 point something. At the moment, 2 to 3, by 2 to 3, now we have more than 26% diabetes in this country. Another study revealed that we have 30.1%, or let's say 30% diabetes. 33 million population of this country have diabetes, and most of them are unaware that they have diabetes because they never go to test, and there is no screening program available in this country unless you yourself go or have symptoms like frequent urination during the night or frequent thirst, etc., etc. Then you go and talk to your doctor, and then you do your fasting. People do random tests. The random test has no significance. If you have more sweets, random will be much higher. Random is done to check the glucose intolerance. Postprandial 2 hours test. Postprandial 2 hours test to see the diabetes intolerance, glucose intolerance. Has nothing to do with the diabetes at the moment. But it tells you if you are intolerant that you are likely to have the diabetes in future. So that's the first stage. But nothing to do when you become the diabetes. So the fasting glucose is somewhat give you an idea that where you're going to. And then finally, if you have the A1C, glycated hemoglobin, 3 monthly, then you will know that you have exceeded the limit of getting complications of nephropathy, retinopathy, and general weakness, male weaknesses, etc., etc. So here you have to know your risk. If you have family history, as I said, genetics play a major role in both. Diabetic 1, 90%, maybe 100%, 99%. But in diabetes 2, it is partly genetics and partly environmental, partly lifestyle. So if it is, even though genetics, you can take control by knowing the risk and by adopting the preventive measures which I just described, such as diet changes, lifestyle changes, your physical activities, increase in physical activities, decrease in sugary food, and weight loss, less alcohol consumption if you live in the western part of the world, etc., etc. If you suffer from DM2, diabetes mellitus 2, which is common, you can live a happy life, healthy life, without complication by adopting these preventive measures. So, here is the World Diabetes Day telling everyone to know your risk and take control of it by prevention. We at Amana Health Foundation recently organized as a non-profit organization are trying our best to create awareness in 5 selected diseases which is prevalent in this country and in many parts of the world. We'll come back one by one, but at the moment, as a founding president of this organization, hoping to have a non-profit organization certification by the Security Exchange Commission of Pakistan this week or next week. We hope to expand our program because saving lives is better than providing medicine. So I would like to end before it goes more than 20 minutes of the clip. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you for caring yourself and your near and dear ones, especially the elders in your family, mother, father, uncles, aunt, grandfather, grandmother, etc., who need to understand all these, and you who are on the social media are the right person to tell them that how to take control. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.